Melba Wilson opened her restaurant, Melba's, nearly 20 years ago. David Westin sat down with her to talk about the challenges that she's faced and, of course, what's next on the menu.
I'm born, bred, and buttered in Harlem, and 114th Street in Frederick Douglass was one of the most notorious drug blocks in the community. There's a school down the block, like midway down the block, and it broke my heart to know that school kids on their way to school to learn had to witness that type of activity. And I always said, I complained about it. And I'm like, but what am I gonna do about it? Well, on a flight one day, I heard the flight attendant say, like they always say, in case of an emergency, put on your mask first. And I said, how am I putting on my mask? How am I changing my community? Well, I went home that day, and my parents are from the South. Literally, my father's from a very, very small town, 3 stoplights, Hemingway, South Carolina. So they grew up saving money under their mattress. They didn't trust the banks. And at one point, Black people could not bank anywhere. It's like their money wasn't good. So there was a habit that was formed. It's what my grandmother did, my great-grandmother did. They would take money and put it under the mattress. So what did I do? When I got paid, whether it was at Sylvia's or Rosa Mexicana or Windows on the World, every Friday when I got paid, I put a little bit under my mattress. This particular day, I said, let me see how much I've saved up. Well, I started counting and counting and counting. Then I got scared. I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot of money. I'd saved up $312,000.
In cash? In cash.
$5 bills, $1 bills, 20s. But I said, what am I gonna do with this? And I decided to change my neighborhood, to be the change that I wanted to see. Well, on the southwest corner of 114th Street, there was a space on the corner, and it said, for rent, written in a black Sharpie with a phone number. I called the number. And the gentleman said, well, have you ever opened a restaurant before? I'm like, no, but I've worked in a lot. And he said, well, can you come and meet with me tomorrow? I said, sir, can I come today? His name was Robert Reach from Limley and Wolf. I trekked uptown, further uptown, because I was already uptown, went and met with him, and the rest is history.
How did you suffer through the pandemic at Melba's?
The pandemic was a really, really rough time for us. New York City is a city that never sleeps. I heard that the city was going to shut down. Did I believe it? Absolutely not. You can walk down the street at 3 o'clock in the morning and find a vibrant community filled with music and sights, some unseen, but still sights none the same. So to believe that New York City was going to shut down, never. But it did.
So now that we have fortunately come out the other side, it appears, that pandemic, how is Melba's different than before the pandemic? I mean, do you still do dine out, for example?
Well, now we have outdoor dining. We had never had outdoor dining before, so that's different. But we've also really reached into innovative technology. Like a QR code, come on now. I'm a little bit over 40, definitely over 20. So QR codes, who would ever thunk that these are something that, so we've become, because you couldn't really touch the menus, right? We didn't know what to do, what not to do. So QR codes, we've become more tech savvy. And that's really, really helped. And also when you look at back of the house, in front of the house, that's always been a big deal in the restaurant. It's the tale of two cities. Now, there's one house. And COVID really taught us that. We have to work together as a team. And as president of the New York City Hospitality Alliance, a former president, I just stepped down from a 4-year term serving 5 years, where you have some of the biggest restaurants in the city, Tao, Lavo, and then you have the small mom and pop restaurants as well, like a Melba's. We realized that we reached into each other. We reached out to each other. We tuned in with each other. But most importantly, we were there to support one another.
So you talk about help you got from other restaurateurs, or other restaurants, and yet there's a lot of competition among restaurants too. How does that trade-off happen? When are you cooperating, when are you competing?
Oh, there's a lot of competition. But ultimately, There's also camaraderie. It's so interesting. I'll never forget when I would go meet with Drew near Parent, and there would be Tribeca Grill on one corner, but then there's Nobu at the other corner. And I would think to myself, aren't they competing with each other? Because that's what I was taught, that's what I was raised to believe. No, what they're doing is that you might go to Tribeca Grill today, but then you'll go to Nobu tomorrow. When I first opened Melba's on 114th in Frederick Douglass, there was no other restaurants in that block. There was the Chinese restaurant, takeout, down the street on 112th in Frederick Douglass, and between that and 120th Street, 110th and 120th, there were no other restaurants. However, 8th Avenue, Frederick Douglass Boulevard, has now become Restaurant Row. The beauty is that someone may go across the street and see the other restaurant and say, oh, what's that Melba's across the street? So we feed off of each other. And I think that in the beginning, people really did think it was about being competitive, but now it's about understanding that we're our brothers and our sisters' keepers.